this way.
MC.
Dark.
Oh, waiting in suspense.
Yeah, isn't it? It's the umbrella. It's something got to do with your umbrella.
There's no sound on this, Peter.
There is.
There's no sound.
There is no. It's not very loud.
Louder.
Feel a bit of YouTube coming on. What was that?
Yeah. What's going on? Jeez, that's a nice car now.
Does it
Take
have a
that
tow
for
bar?
Christmas.
Oh, good man, Rob. Is the sound coming through okay, guys?
A little, it's quiet, but you're a little bit.
You can hear movement, but not really music, Peter.
You can hear it. I can see clearly now.
I can hear Liam singing.
I can see all obstacles in my way.
Okay.
Gone are the dark clouds that had me blind. Gonna be a bright, sunshiny day. Think I can make it now, the pain is gone. All of the bad feelings have disappeared.
Ah, Top Gear.
Here is the rainbow I've been praying for. It's gonna be a bright, sunshiny day. Think I can make it now, the pain is gone. No, the bad feelings have disappeared. I can see clearly now, the rain is gone. It's gonna be a bright, sunshiny day. Only bright, sunshiny day. Take it
I want to go racing.
Did you see these cars? All these cars I'll never afford. Just like there's
say
one.
that.
Now tractor in there, you'll afford some days.
I'll get that. I'll get that tractor.
Aim high, aim
I'll
high.
aim for that tractor.
That's it, Massey Ferguson.
What else? That's gotta be it.
Now, good afternoon, everybody.
Hello.
Hi, Peter.
How are we?
Hey, Peter.
Hello.
So, why did I put that video up, guys?
Is this the last time?
Because it's the last time, indeed. Any other reasons you can think of?
You can see clearly now.
Ha-ha! Nice one, right?
Think big.
So, here's the thing, right? It turns out, anyway, myself and Jeremy are fans of Liam's. So, I'm not the only one out there, right? Now, that was the opening. Does anybody know what that was from?
Grand Tour.
The Grand Tour. It was the
Okay.
opening scene of the Grand Tour. And what was happening? The three guys were doing what? Starting again. Dreaming
Having the
everything
time
up.
of their lives.
Having the time of their lives and starting again. What
Midlife
is
crisis.
every one of you doing after Christmas?
Starting again.
Starting again. Okay? So we are, all of us, starting again. Wow, I think I need to start that pen again. Right, anyway. Now, we're all starting again. And the reason I wanted to put that up there was, yes, I'm going to give you, what did I promise you today? Anybody remember?
Secret.
Like creative champagne. We're going to give you everything you need, the pieces of the pie that we spoke about before, the recipe, whatever it is you want to call it, I'm giving you everything today, okay? So you will be able to see clearly what you need to do, and most importantly, what you don't need to do. I'm going to save you from the sharks that will take your money and give you nothing. Another thing is, what else did we see as Jeremy drove off out of the airport and hit the road?
He was on his own.
And then what happened?
He was
His
doing
friends
it
joined him.
That's what we're going to look at. Who do you want with you? Okay. Who do you want with you on the journey? Who's going to help you get there? All right. What they do, how they're going to go about it, all that kind of stuff. That makes sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
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 Everybody with me?
Yeah.
Anybody not want it?
Nope.
Hey, great. Okay. So the first thing is, what did we say before? We need to have a plan. And to get a plan in place, where do we need to start?
at the end.
At the end, okay? We need to start at the destination and do what?
Work back.
Work backwards.
Work our way back, all right? So, can anybody remember what we need our destination to be? Anyone? Hello? Anyone in there? Hello? Right. It's all gone very quiet when I ask the questions, isn't it? Right. See, it's interesting, isn't it? Anyway, right. What did we say we want to do? We want to have what? What do every one of you want?
Success.
You want success.
Success, money. Rob, fun.
Go on, what else do you want? Success.
Fun.
Customers.
Fun.
Laughs.
Somebody said customers. Yeah, we'd be pretty poor without them, wouldn't we? Okay, what else do we want?
Awesome. Money.
Time.
Money.
Security.
Time.
Another lockdown.
Yay!
I think you got that already, Rob.
Rob, I thought you were going to say validation.
Well, what else do we want?
Security.
Security. What else do we want?
Cash flow.
Cash flow.
Loads and loads of money.
Yes, please.
Okay, what else do we want?
Job satisfaction.
Satisfaction, so we want to be happy. Oh, that's interesting, isn't it? Can you all see that?
Yes.
Everybody read it? Yeah? Okay, now what's interesting about it?
It's a wish list.
It's a wish list. Yeah, go on, what else about it?
It's achievable.
It's achievable. Well, it is. Of course it is. Do you know how to do it? What else? What's interesting about it?
Everybody
Missing
can define
detail.
those things differently. They mean different things to different people.
They do mean different things to different people, right? But what else? What's missing?
The plan to get there.
Strategy.
Well, the strategy, that's coming. But we'll think about this for a second. Nobody said to spend more time at work.
Oh yeah, add that one in there. I want to spend more time.
You want to spend more time at work,
Got
don't
that
you?
one.
Yeah.
You want to work harder, don't you?
Yeah, and another lockdown.
Isn't it funny? But how much of your life do you spend right now trying to work harder?
Too much.
Too much. Or trying to find work. Now, here's the interesting thing, right? Where's time? Right, see that one there, time. What did we say that was before? It's the most what?
Valuable.
The most valuable commodity on the planet because it's the only thing you can't buy, right? Now, would you believe, here's a statistic for you. We'll start today's statistics with this one, 25%. Anybody tell me what 25% is?
Quarter.
Quarter.
What you pay yourself?
You know, 25% is a quarter. What does it represent?
The amount of statistics that aren't true.
That's actually 37, Rob, so sorry, you're wrong. Okay, 25%, would you believe that is the average time in this country right now that your self-employed person gets paid their full hourly rate? 25% of your week. Does that sound outlandish in the current climate? It doesn't, does it?
No.
So what are we doing with the other 75% of our week?
Panicking.
Panicking and doing what?
Complaining.
Chasing our tails, looking for work. Now, if we're chasing our tails, looking for work, panicking, wonder where the next meal is coming from, does that level of panic allow us to do our best work?
No.
Absolutely
So if we're not doing our best work, will we get people coming back to us again and again and again?
No.
If we haven't got them coming back to us again and again and again, are they going to bring their friends?
No.
Oh, no.
So who wants to continue down that path?
No.
Right. You do.
Rob.
He's some boyo, isn't he? Right. Are they all like that in Mullingar? I've never been. Now I'm beginning to realise why.
It's amazing here.
Yeah. So if we are panicking and not doing our best work and chasing work all the time, spending our life worried about things, will we have success?
No.
Will we have fun? Will we be happy? Will we have lots of customers? Will we have lots of money? Will we have lots of time? Will we have security in our jobs?
No.
Or will we have
I
great
like
cash flow?
responding, Rob.
No.
No, we won't. And who wants to live like that?
I
We
don't.
might have lots of time, but we're not going to have money
It's
to
not
spend.
nice time, is it? Do you want to spend most of your time worried about putting food on the table? No, I don't. Okay, so if we continue down the path that the average person is doing today, will we get there?
No.
No. So what is the easiest way to make sure that people come back to you again and again and bring their friends?
Over-deliver.
Over-deliver, exactly. So our destination, our aim is to over-deliver. Now, is everybody clear what I mean by over-deliver?
Yeah, go the extra mile.
Yeah.
Now, let's think about this for a second. Imagine you were setting up a restaurant, right? That's an easy one, okay? Because we've all eaten food at some stage, so we can all relate to a restaurant. Imagine you go to a restaurant, we've all been there at some stage, and the food, you kind of sit down and it's put in front of you and you taste it, and the person you're with says, well, what's yours like? And you go, it kind of reminds me of food, I think. It's not very tasty, but sure, look, it'll do. Is that over-delivering?
No.
No.
Is it delivering?
No.
Or is it under-delivering?
Under.
Under-delivering.
It's under-delivering,
Underwhelming.
right? And underwhelming. But how often do we see it?
All the time.
Yeah, we see it all the time. And those people are happy to produce that shit to us, aren't they?
Mm-hmm.
Right, why?
You allow them to.
Paying for it.
You get away with
We
it.
don't.
They get away with it. But tell me this, are they able to charge the big money for it?
No.
They're not.
I mean, put it this way. Do you think it takes shorter or longer to produce a really crap spaghetti carbonara or a really good spaghetti carbonara?
Same time.
It's the same amount of time. So if you're going to do a crap one, how much might you be able to charge for it? Maybe a £5? And if you do a really good one, what can you charge for it? Maybe 20 quid? 4 times the price. All by doing what?
Trying to
Not
over-deliver.
spending any more time, but over-delivering, okay? Now, so we've agreed that one and we recognize it. Now, what about one where it's, yeah, it's okay. It's not bad, actually. It's fine. It'll do me grand till I get back to work and then I go home and have a nice dinner. Now, what is that? Is that under-delivering, delivering, or over-delivering?
Under-delivering.
Under-delivering again, or maybe me just about meeting expectations, right? You might even call it delivering at a stretch. But you know when you go to a restaurant, you sit down and they bring it out and you take the first mouthful and you sit and you just go, oh my God, taste that. Oh my God, I've never tasted anything like that in my life. You have to try it. Now, what is that?
Over-delivering.
Now, are you going to go tell all your friends?
Yes.
Yeah.
Are you going to bring people at Christmas time?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah? Are you going to scream and shout about it and put a good review up on the Google?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Is that going to make it easier for the restaurant owner?
Yes.
Is that what you want for your business?
Yeah.
Okay. So over deliver, and we're now a bit more clear on what it is that we want to be able to do. Are you with me?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So we have to, what we want to do is we need to aim to over deliver. Now, at what point should we be able to over deliver? Now or 2 years down the road as the business grows?
No.
Now. Right? How many people do you know, Asha, will get good at it as we go along?
Everyone.
We see it all the time. How many times have you had a leak in your house and you've gone and got a plumber or whatever it is and they come and they make a bigger mess than they started with?
Mm-hmm.
It drives you bonkers, doesn't it? You won't recommend them to anybody, will you?
No.
Is this something we see all the time? And it's an Irish attitude. It's called till do. Till do, right? I hate it, right? But I want everybody else to get out of that mindset, because will to do make you money?
No.
No. Okay, might short term, might in the next half hour, but won't get you any extra customers. You with me? Right? So we have to over deliver, has to be number one. All right. Now, if we're going to get to the point where we are good enough to over deliver, what do we need next? So what has to happen just before you over deliver in the steps? What has to happen just before that so that you can over deliver?
No, you have to have the skills and the ability.
You have to have the skills and the ability. And what else did we say? The knowledge? The knowledge, the skill, and the attitude to be brilliant. Okay? Now, in exact, as well as that, we have the knowledge, the skill, the attitude. We over deliver. We're absolutely brilliant at what we do. What do we next need?
Clear expectation of what's required by the customer.
Yeah, and that's in your over deliver, so you match that. But now, you have your restaurant, it's all set up, you've beautiful dishes, you've got a wonderful menu, everything's brilliant, but it's empty. So what do you need?
Customers. Customers.
You need customers, okay? So the last thing you need to do to get a customer in the door is do what?
Sorry, repeat, Peter, I didn't get that.
What's the last thing you need? As they come in the door, you need to do what? To get them to?
Pay.
Well, pay at the end. If that's come down to, you'll always get paid if you over deliver. If you meet anybody and they say, geez, do you know what? I'm finding that they're very difficult to get paid these days. Run like hell, okay? Because the only people that don't get paid are the people that do the bad jobs, okay? Let that be a warning sign, right? Anyway, you need to have the customer to sit down at the restaurant table, so they need to come in the door. So in our line of business, what do we call that? When they go from not being a customer to being a customer, you have done what?
Warm lead.
You've closed them. Is that right? Yeah? So the next, working backwards, remember we said this, we find the destination and we check the pipes all the way back. So your next thing is to be able to close. Right? Does anybody disagree with me?
No.
No? Okay, so we need to be able to get them in the door, get them at the table, right? And happy to be at the table, so we're going to be able to close. Now, before we can close them, what's the step we need to do before that?
Attract them.
Which?
Attract them.
Well, that would come, think of this way, we're going backwards now, okay?
Do the
So you
pitch.
negotiate your price.
We need to do the pitch, right? So the next one is we need to do the pitch. Whatever that happens to be, depending on the business. Are you with me?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, what's involved? Oh, well, we'll continue with this route first, right? So that's your pitch. What do you need to do before you do the pitch?
Prepare the pitch.
Well, prepare the pitch, yeah. You have to do
Find the
that.
customer.
Which?
Find the customer.
Understand.
Find the customer.
Know what
Okay.
the customer wants.
Know what the customer wants. So to be able to do that, what do you have to do with the customer to know what they want and to keep them coming towards you?
Listen to them.
You have to engage, okay? And engage is two things. We have to listen to them and we have to what? Talk to them. So what's the word for the two of those? And that's?
Communicate.
Communicate, exactly. Now, to get them to communicate with us, what do we need just before they decide they're going to communicate?
They need to know what the solution is, that it meets their needs.
You need you need their attention. I mean,
You need their attention, and you need more than their attention, you need their interest. Okay, so they have to see something about you that they like. And remember the time we talked about the really simple process of buying a car. You see the advert, you nip into the dealership and you pick up a
Brochure.
brochure. So you need the brochure, which is going to pique their interest. Isn't that right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, so that's number 6, going that way. Now, to get them interested to turn up in your equivalent of a dealership and pick up your brochure, what do you need to have done to make that happen?
Awareness.
Awareness. Well, you need to have done something. What did somebody said it a few minutes ago?
Attract.
Attract. You with me? Yeah, you have to have something that makes them get in touch with you in the first place, right? Now, and lastly, to make them, to be attractive to them, what do they have to do? What do they have to be aware of to be attractive to you?
What do you do? What do you do?
What do you do? What else?
What you can do for them.
What you can do for them, yeah. What else?
They need to know you exist.
They need to know that you exist. Very good. Right? That you exist. Because if you have the best product or service in the world and it's sitting in your garage and nobody knows about it, are you going to become a millionaire?
No.
No. No. Okay. So, does anybody looking at that list there think that we're missing anything? Anything at all?
Well, in order to over deliver, you have to try and figure out what your customer wants that they don't know that they want.
Yes, you have to do that. You have to do that as part of this bit, which is making yourself really, really good at what you do, right? And then it's this process that we're talking about. I can't help you to become a better lawyer, right? I can't help you to become a better inventor, Rob, okay? Because I don't know anything about inventing shit, right? But what I can do is all tell you what bits of this you need. Does that make sense? Yeah? So in that step by step, what did we say? We're going to work from the destination, work back like a plumber would put bits of pipe in and then make sure that the pipe is sealed and all that, work their way back to the mains. Isn't that right? So if we're doing that, can you think of anything that's missing from this
The test drive.
recipe?
Develop your skills. Develop your skills.
Well, developing your skills again is in here. This is the skills part.
Yeah.
What makes you unique?
What makes you unique? That is, we put that in your brochure, and you have your job is to communicate it.
Have they had the test drive?
The test drive is in here in the pitch.
Wait, knowing your customers, knowing who is your customer.
Knowing who your customer is. Well, what I'm saying is, there's nothing missing here, is there?
No.
In the step-by-step guide, is there anything missing?
You are.
What?
Huh?
Well, we, as the people bringing all of this, we're missing it.
No, we're in here. We're in the over-deliver. No, the fact is, they are the steps that you need to be able to carry out to have all of those things on the list that you mentioned before. Success, fun, happiness, customers, money, time, security, and cash flow. There's nothing missing. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So why are most people not successful? Why are 96% of people not having what's on that list?
So missing pieces of the pie.
Missing all the pieces, or some pieces.
Now, do you remember the week that we talked about the 3 different types of people that make up the population? 25% of them, what did we say they were?
VFAs.
No.
I think it's bigger.
The VFFA was bigger, right? 25% we call the never.
Oh, yeah.
Always waiting for someone else to do it for them. Never doing the work, never doing what's needed. 70%, what were they?
VFFA.
They were the VFFA. And what was amazing about the VFFA?
They're everywhere.
Nothing amazing about it.
Yeah, nothing amazing, yeah.
Lacking.
The thing about them was that they did what? They do what?
They go through the motions, but
Go
don't
through the
try.
motions and they do the bare minimum that they think they'll get away with. Hold on to their 1 or 2 successes a year. What do they want at the end? They want the
VFFA.
The results, the validation for fuck all, right?
Yeah.
So that's what they want, right? Now, and what did that say? We left with 5, which is 5%, which do it. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
How many people have we got on here today? 28 at the moment, right? Which is roughly, is it even 5% of the members of Ireland together now at this stage?
No.
It's under. Now, but here's the thing. The 5% that have the intentions of doing it, do they all manage it?
No.
No, they don't, right? Because there is 1.5%, 1.5% of them get distracted. They have all the great intentions, but they get distracted, which means that the successful are 3.5% of the population. Now, when I mean successful, I mean reaching the goal that they set themselves in the first place. That's all. Do you know what percentage of businesses started in the world go on to become a Facebook or an Amazon?
0.
Yeah.
It's 0.0002%. But what's funny is they're the ones that have all the steps in place. The VFFAs never get there. Why?
Yeah, they give up. They don't put in the effort.
Sweet Effie.
What they want is, see this step here, the attract step, they want that to have people turn up and pay them the money without going through any of the other steps along the way. Right? Or, here's the other one I've discovered. They will find the person that will help them get through the steps, they think, but they'll buy the cheap. They'll buy the one that won't over-deliver for them along the way. And I bet you if we were all to look into our own hearts, we've all done that at some point or other, haven't we?
Oh, never. Oh, never. It's always the other people, but never me.
Exactly. So now, just to go on that, what I want to do is I want to show you as well. We started off, they need to know we exist. Okay, so how do we let them know we exist? What are the things that we can put in place to let them know we exist?
Websites, social media.
Yeah, all that stuff, websites.
Shops. Advertising. TV, radio, newspapers.
Yeah.
The most important thing, though, is that we sell them what they want, not what we want to sell them.
Exactly. We'll come back to that in a while. I'm just talking about the steps and what's involved in each piece of the recipe. Okay. You have your social, you have your adverts, you have your website, and you want people to find your website. Mm-hmm. So what's the easiest way for people to find your website is your SEO, right? And that's IFA. I can't do that for you, right? I'm no good at that, okay? But, so we have IFA for that, okay? Social media. We'll need a bit of social media, won't we? Are we better off to spend half a day ourselves doing the social media or get somebody who knows what they're doing to do it for you?
Get someone to do it.
Get someone who knows what they're doing to do it. What's the problem in this country right now with social media?
It's like a circus.
Like a circus, and everybody thinks they know how to do it, right? I remember a couple of years ago when I knew absolutely nothing about it and I hired somebody and they said, oh yes, and it'll be great and we'll do A/B testing and we'll do this, that and the other. And I said, what? You said you're an expert. And they went, yes, I'm an expert. I said, well, what do you need to do A/B testing for? Oh, that's what we do. You mean you have to go and do the research now? You mean you don't know what you're doing? Oh, no, that's not the way to look at it. And I said, what do you want? You want me to pay you to do your research, to learn how to do your job? And they went, yeah, that's the way it works. How quickly do you think I gave them the door? Right? So it's about finding, I bet you, Aoife, people drive you bonkers with that kind of stuff, do they?
I'm about to just, bring you, because actually that is the way it works. I don't know your business, but I want to do the best job I can for you. So I want to do a bit of research.
Yes, but you do want to do the best. How many people are in your business who don't want to do the best? They just want the money and they don't care. Okay.
Yeah, they're the WFFAs.
The VFFA.
The
VFFA. So they're out there, right?
I can use the W word as well. There's a W word.
Of course you can. Yeah. So then we have the social media side of things. So we need somebody to help us with the social media. right? Do you do that, Aoife?
No, it's not my
No?
area of expertise.
Okay, that's not
I can
your
do the
area.
strategy, but I don't execute.
Okay, great. So now we know exactly what Aoife does, right? So the social and stuff, I do know one person is part of the community. She's not here today, but Claire Mason is very good at the social media stuff, right? Now, here's the thing about adverts. Do you really need adverts?
Google ads, yeah.
Depends.
Yeah, Google ads.
If they're focused at the right channels and
If
to the right
they're
audience,
done
but
right.
if they're just mass market, then
Here's the thing, mass marketing, scattergun approach to advertising, does it work?
No.
Facebook and LinkedIn, no. So you need to find somebody that knows how to do that and actually target it.
Yeah.
Okay, and your website.
Okay, the guy who can help you there is Fergal O'Connor.
Brilliant. Write that down, guys.
He does a 5-channel strategy.
Great. So now we have someone else who will actually do it properly, right? Then you have a website. Okay. If your website isn't up to scratch and isn't communicating properly with your customers, is there any point in attracting them to your website?
None.
No.
None. How often does it happen, though, that we see people with crap websites with the stuff coming in and then they wonder why? Because what are they doing? They're telling us all about themselves. We see it, don't we?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah? Okay. So you want to have a good website. All right. Now, who have we got here that builds really good, really original websites?
We've a couple of people. We've
a
Miss
couple of
Val
people.
in Monologue.
Okay. Okay. Now, there are a couple of people out there, but here's the thing. There is no point going to get a website built until you know what you want that website to say.
And do.
And do, because it's a waste of time if you don't know what you want to tell your customers. Hands up, how many of you right now, if I said I want a really good value proposition from you, I don't want to know what you do. I don't want to know why you do it. I don't want to know how long you do it. I want to know why I should buy it from you as regards anybody else. How many of you could put your hands up right now and give me that value proposition and have it perfect? Silence is deafening. But that is the first thing we must have before we can fill up and make a website. Does that make sense? Yeah?
Yep.
And those of you who've been on it, what happens when you go to a course of mine called Level Up? What do you get?
Your value proposition.
Your value proposition, okay? So that's the first one that I can help you with, is your value prop. Okay? Without it, will any of the other steps work?
No.
To get you your success and your money and your time and all that stuff? Okay?
No, they won't.
Now, and lastly on that, does anybody here know somebody who writes people's value propositions?
You,
No.
Peter. That's the thing.
You can do that, Peter.
You can do it. You're very good at it.
You see, here's the problem. No one can write your value proposition except for you. Because nobody knows you like you do. I can guide you to do it and I can help you find out what your value proposition is, but you can't give it to someone else to do it. Because what happens is they don't know what your value proposition is. You think it's easy, you give it to someone else to do. The only thing they can do is Google 50 other websites that sound like you, pick the best bits out of all of it, bang it together, and then make you sound what?
Like everyone else.
Like everyone else. And when you're like everyone else, what do you become?
Same.
What to price against? You with me? Okay. So that's the first bit there, right? So that's our, to let them know that we exist. Is there anything missing in there? I don't think there is.
What about
Well,
cold calling, cold emailing?
Sorry?
Going out contacting people cold, whether it's on LinkedIn, email, or phone.
Well, that's part of your social media strategy, right? So it's still part of this bit, okay? Now be very, very careful about cold emailing. How many emails do you get per day at the moment from people trying to sell you something that have no relationship with you?
Too many.
I had 47 this morning. How many of them do you think I read? None. I actually timed myself to see how quickly I could actually delete them all. Right? That's my little competition. See, can I get even quicker at deleting shit? Right? Now, if I'm doing that, who else do you think is doing that?
Everybody else. Everyone.
Yeah. So, is it a good strategy right now to just cold email people? No. And if you're cold,
it's not GDPR compliant.
It's not even GDPR compliant, exactly, right? So I personally think that's a pointless strategy at the moment. But there are people out there who will try and sell you email lists for lots of money and tell you that it will help you grow your business. Will it?
No.
No. So what do we call those people?
Bullshitters.
The sharks. Okay. So we're going to end up with a list as well of the things to avoid that won't work. Does that make sense? Yeah? Okay. So that's the existing bit. What did we say once they know that you exist? What was the next bit? Who wrote it down?
Pique their interest.
You had to attract them.
Brochure.
Now, if we want to attract them, what do we need to know?
What they want.
What they want. Okay, what else do we need to know?
The competition.
Yeah, you need to know why you're different from competition.
Yeah, but most importantly, right, to actually attract them, right? Let's put it this way, right? If you were going out on a first date with somebody, or maybe a second date, you got to know somebody a little bit that you met in the pub or whatever it happens to be, wouldn't you have tried to find out a little bit about what kind of clothes they might like? You know, do they like the person who turns up in a nice jacket and a dicky bow and a hanky in the pocket and a nice polished pair of shoes? Or do they like the person that turns up in jeans and a t-shirt? You'd find that out, wouldn't you? Because you're not going to get the right result if you turn up looking like you've just stepped out of, you know, sale of the century, if the person likes somebody who wears t-shirt and jeans, and vice versa. So wouldn't you actually try and find out a little bit about them? Yeah? Yeah. And what you would do is you would learn to present back to them what they're looking for. Does that make sense? Yeah?
It does.
Right? Now, how many people do you see out there that go to that trouble with their business? Or do we just see the scattergun approach?
Yeah, scattergun.
The scattergun, right? And will the scattergun work?
No, absolutely not.
Absolutely not. So why do we see it all the time?
Because we do what we think we're supposed to rather than what we're actually supposed to.
Well, it comes down to 96.5% won't make the effort.
Easy.
And what we do, we're human beings, we're herd animals, whether we like it or not, and we see the majority of people doing something some way, and we go, well, that must be the way to do it, without actually thinking it through. But if it worked like that, then 100% of people who start businesses would be successful. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah? Okay. So we need to know what they want. We need to know why they want it. And we need to be able to show them. And to be able to show them that we have what they want, what do we most need to know?
What their pain points are.
And if we want to know what their pain points are, what do we need to know about them?
We need to know about them.
We need to know about them. What makes them ideal for us? So what do we call that person? The ideal
customer.
Client.
Close, Rob.
What's the difference between a customer and a client?
Client is yours and will come back to you.
Yes,
client
a customer,
relationship. Yeah.
a customer is somebody that you deal with once or very, very seldom, and a client is somebody who keeps coming back. Which one makes you more money?
Client.
The clients. So you stop looking for ideal customers, you start looking for ideal clients. That makes sense? Also, do you know what I've learned over the years? If a customer brings you a friend, that friend only does business once. If a client brings you a friend, they become a client. Funny how that works, right? But if we're not consciously looking for that, if that hasn't been pointed out to us, what do you think our chances are of finding it? They're slim, isn't that right? Okay, so we want to go looking for our ideal client. Who knows how to figure out what their ideal client is?
It's difficult. Talking to your clients?
Me, because you taught us on your course.
Nice one, Justine, right? I've shown you how to do it, haven't I? Yeah, and it makes sense and it works, doesn't it?
Yep.
Yeah, okay. So that's another one I can help you with, okay? Write that down, and that's in level up. And what were the two things we did with ideal clients, Justine?
What did we do with them? Sorry,
Well, what did we do around that subject? We figured out how to find out exactly who they are.
Yeah.
So that you could picture them.
Yeah.
We found out where to find them.
Mm-hmm.
And because we found those two things out, what did we then know? How to talk to them, which was the communication step. Okay, so that's what you need to be able to do. That's another step, knowing your ideal client, why they want you, and show them how you can help them. If we can't do that, can we be successful?
No.
We have to go back to what?
If we're not successful.
Well, if we're not doing that, if we're not finding our ideal clients, if we're not doing that, we go back to the thing we hear all the time at the networking. Anyone who needs a new car. Really? What does anyone get you?
Nothing.
No one. And what's the other word we hear? I'm looking for someone. And someone gets you? No one. Okay? So, but we hear it all the time. And we fall into the trap to think it's okay. It's not. Okay? That makes sense? Yeah? You with me?
Yeah.
Okay. So here's the thing. What will the sharks try and sell you in the attraction stage?
Everything.
Everything. They'll try and tell you that what they have is a list of people who will be ready to buy your products and service right now, and all you have to do is email them. Or all you have to do is use this Facebook ad system. Or all you have to do is go on to LinkedIn without doing any of this work. Will it work?
No.
No. Okay. So again, the sharks will try and sell you this. Okay. That makes sense? Yeah. Okay. So what was the next step after attract? Was your brochure. That in this day and age is a website, right? Or you can still, do you know what? I love using an actual printed brochure that you can hand to people. Why?
Yeah, it's something tangible and something they can refer to afterwards.
Yeah, but there's another thing. They get handed so little nowadays, and what they do get handed in general is the shit that comes in the door, you know, the junk mail, and it's so cheap quality. And when you hand somebody something that's of quality nowadays, they get a hit of dopamine. When they get a hit of dopamine in their brain, how do they feel about you?
Reward, happy.
Right.
What?
Yeah. Warm and fuzzy.
You make them feel warm and fuzzy about you. Okay? So always think about that. Maybe a brochure can still be used, right? So what do we need in a brochure? Again, we need the communication. What else do we need? We need to look the part. Right? What did we say before we discovered during the pandemic? People will buy from what people?
People
they trust.
People they trust. Also, if it's not somebody they've used before, they will work with the person who looks the most what?
Professional.
Credible. Remember I told you about that a while ago? The credibility factor, right? Credible. So what do we need to look credible?
Testimonials.
We need testimonials.
Evidence and testimonials.
An expensive watch.
An expensive watch. Yes.
Good shoes.
The good shoes, right?
A nice car.
A nice car, right?
Nice
But
kitchen.
most importantly, I can't bring this around the place and hand it to people, right? What do we need? We need nice photos. And I don't mean photos on the beach or photos doing your hobbies. I've nothing worse than going to somebody's house and looking at their fucking holiday snaps, is there? Right? It's what photos doing what we're due and doing it well. Does that make sense? Yeah?
Yeah.
Right? Okay.
Yeah.
So nice quality photos. I can't help you with the photos bit. Who have we got
David
in
Murphy
the group?
can.
David Murphy.
And John Murray.
Right, you've got David Murphy.
Yeah.
There's John Murray. Right? They are two very good photographers. And if you want to go really over the top and get the type of photography that you've seen on my website, get in touch with me and I'll give you David Park's number, right? Either way, they're all going to get you looking great. Not like the people that take photographs that look like they took them on their iPhone, right? When people do that, how do we look at them when we see their stuff? We go, oh Christ, right? Not working with them, right? Because they don't look credible. Does that make sense? Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, right. So that's the brochure bit. What was next on the list after the brochure?
Engage, communicate.
Communication.
The communication. And what's involved in communication? I see, by the way, it's 1:03
Again,
and we're probably going to run over over time a little bit today, but I think it'll be worth it, okay? Because I want to give you this before I go, all right? Is everybody happy to stay a while?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I have to go
Okay.
early, so
Sorry?
I need a few minutes, but I need to go.
You need to go early.
Mary needs to
Oh,
I'll
Mary.
stay for another few minutes.
Yeah, okay.
Nobody dance without me.
Sorry?
Nobody dance
Nobody
without me,
dances.
though.
We'll dance for you. We'll dance for you. Okay. See you, Mary.
And I'll stay for another few minutes.
Anyway, for anybody who has to go before it's over, email me and I'll make sure that you've got the link to the video of this, okay? So in the communication, what's involved in the communication?
To listen.
to listen.
Well, we need to listen and all that, but the physical bits that are involved in that have to go into the recipe, right? We have to know how to listen. Did you know that listening is actually a skill that you have to learn to do it properly, right? It doesn't just happen, right? Okay, so we need to know how to listen. What else do we need to know?
Questions to ask?
The questions. right? How often do we see people and they ask us questions, you go, what the fuck are they asking me that for? Right? They've heard somewhere, oh, salespeople should ask questions, but they don't know what questions to ask. And they come across as complete gobshites, don't they? And they get our backs up because they ask the wrong ones at the wrong time. So there's a whole range of skills involved in that, okay? What else do we need?
How to get your message across.
You need to get a nice message. And lastly, we need to do what?
Confirm what we have communicated.
But with the intention of getting into something, what did I say was the most powerful thing in sales, the most powerful sense,
imagination.
The imagination. Okay, so getting into the imagination of the person, what does that do?
How would it feel?
How would it feel?
How would it feel? Can you imagine this? Picture yourself. Yeah. But to be able to say, picture yourself, right? So when let's say I was selling somebody a dress just for the crack of it, and I would say to somebody, picture yourself walking into that wedding on the 24th, and everybody at the reception turning around to look at you and saying, wow. What have I just done?
Yeah. Make them imagine it.
It's completely different to just handing you something and sending you into the changing room going, well, right?
Very popular.
But how would it make, if I said that, how would that make you feel walking in to see 180 people and they all look at you and go, wow?
Not as everybody else.
What has that just done to the value of the dress?
Feel different.
Positive association.
Yeah. Have I already started the negotiation in your head?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, do you think I just licked that off the stones to be able to do that? Or do you think that was a practice, skills and stuff that I had to understand and practice and turn into stuff that I use habitually now that doesn't happen overnight? Okay. So we have to get into that in our communication. Communication is not show up and throw up. And yes, what do 90% of the salespeople we meet on a daily basis do?
Talk about features.
Show up and throw up.
Show up and throw up.
Shout and tell.
Shout and tell. Yeah.
I love that one.
Talk about themselves.
And talk about themselves, right? Okay, so that's the imagination. We need to get in there. It's the most important place we want to get to in the communication, right? And you do it yourselves, right? When you go out and you're thinking about buying a car and they don't do anything, they're just, this is the size of the boot and it goes 0 to 60 in 4 seconds and it's boring. So what do you have to do? You can never make a decision. You have to go home and imagine it in your own driveway. Say, oh, that would really piss that neighbor off if I pulled up in that tomorrow evening, right? And we sell it to ourselves later. What if you could learn to do that in the first place? What difference would it make to your closing ability?
Yeah.
Huge.
Right? Here's an interesting one. And this came up in a conversation the other day, funny enough, with Sylvia here. They tell us that 90% of sales are done on the 5th contact. You've heard that statistic before, haven't you?
I haven't.
Right, well, it's about time you did. Because it's the most ridiculous thing for people to accept as normal. Every time you follow somebody up, what do you give them? Discount. As an incentive to try and close the deal. If you do it today, I'll give you another 100 quid off. And they go, oh, I need to think about it. You ring them 3 days later and you go, if you do it today, I'll give you another 100 quid off. By the time you've done it 5 times, where's the profit gone?
Down the drain.
Down the drain, right? So if you don't get into the imagination, you are literally throwing away money. And if you're throwing away your profit margin, what are you throwing away? Your success, your happiness, your security, right? And all those things that you told me that you wanted at the start. That makes sense so far?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay. After we had the communication, what was next on the list? Did nobody write it down?
Pitch.
I did.
Pitch.
They do the pitch.
So now we're not talking about the brochure pitch anymore. We're talking about the actual one-to-one, the bit where we're actually going to get into the customers, real nitty-gritty, talk about what makes it work for them and all that kind of stuff, right? So what do we need to do in that? We also need to get into their imagination again in a different way, right? And the most important thing is that we get into their past, get into their existing experiences. Does anybody ever notice me doing that?
Yeah, all the time, actually, yeah.
I do it all the time, but you don't even notice it, right? It's become so ingrained in me. You know, when you're talking down to the fella down the road and they send you the plumber and all that thing, what happens? Every one of you time travels. Every one of you goes back in time and pictures the person standing in your kitchen trying to mop up the water off the floor, whatever it is. That's a skill that I've learned to be able to do so that you picture yourself. And if you picture yourself mopping up the water off the floor, it's much easier for me to sell you the mop than just say, there's a mop, do you want it? Does that make sense? Right? So you have to get into the existing experience. The next thing you have to be able to do is time travel forwards. Forwards, right? Now, what do I mean by that? Do you remember I told you that in the dress? Imagine in 3 weeks' time, you're walking into that reception with that dress on, looking amazing, and everybody turns and says, wow, what have I just done? I've moved you forward in time.
Yeah.
I've put you into your own movie. Right? Do you see the way that works?
Okay. A picture of the future.
Painting the picture of the future. Okay? Except, what did we say? A picture paints what?
1,000 words.
1,000 words, right? How many websites would you need to write to have 1,000 words in it? Right? And you can do it in seconds. Picture paints 1,000 words. But what did I do? When I said, imagine yourself walking into the reception in 3 weeks' time and everybody turns around to look at you. What have I just done there? I put two things into it. I put you walking and them turning. What's that? It's movement. If a picture paints 1,000 words, if you put movement into the picture, it becomes what?
1,000 pictures.
Motion picture, or what do we call that in today's language?
Video.
So if a picture paints 1,000 words, a video paints 1,000 pictures. That's 1,000,000 words in 15 seconds. How powerful is that?
Mm-hmm.
What would it mean to you if I could teach you how to do that? What difference would that make to your negotiation skills?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because what happens is, if you can learn to do that properly, negotiation goes out the window. That makes sense? Yeah?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, you get that, you get the video, you learn to get that into their imagination, you plant your 1,000,000 word seed, okay? And then what happens? Should you need to negotiate at that point?
No.
If it's done properly, you should never need to negotiate. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
The only thing you should need to do at that point, if you do, is rebuild your value. Okay? Now, who knows how to rebuild their value?
What does that mean?
Which?
What does that mean? Sorry, Peter, rebuild your value.
So here's the thing, right? How often we get to something like this, we just say, how would it feel if you had that? And they go, oh, that'd be great. And you say, well, it'll cost you $2,000.
Yeah, you summarize the key points.
You summarize the key points, you give them a price and they go, oh, I have a price here of 1,500 quid. What do most people do at that point?
Drop the price.
They scurry out the door and go and talk to a manager or go and redo their figures and see if they can do it for the 1,500 quid or less, don't they?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think I do that?
Extra.
What?
Something extra.
Or they give them something extra. Do you think I do that?
No.
No. Was anybody here when I told you about one of the recent speeches I gave when they wanted me to do it for $2,500?
Yeah.
Yeah? Does anybody want to hear that one again, just very quickly, just so you can see how it works?
Yeah, go for it.
They said, okay, so we've had Keith Barry and we've had Diarmuid Gavin and we've had Gavin Duffy and they all did a speech for us for $2,500. Now, here's the thing. That's not bad pay for 25 minutes work, is it?
No.
Right? And they said to me, and so we'll expect you to do it for less. I said, why would you expect me to do it for less? And they said, because you're not a celebrity. And I went, yes. Right? But I turned around and I said, because I know my value. And I said, how many people are going to be listening to the speech? And they said 1,000. I said, I'm not even going to get out of bed and come and make a speech if I can't at least help each one of them to make 100 quid next month. And they went, oh, Jesus, we'd expect even more than that. I said, well, let's call it worst case scenario. And that's just in 1 month, an extra 100 quid. 100 quid per person, and there's 1,000 on the call. That's worth 100 grand to you. So as long as I charge you anything less than 50 grand, you've got a bloody good deal. Now, what do you think happened?
You did it for $2,000.
They laughed. And they went, oh, that's really funny. Nobody's ever put it to us that way before. I said, Gavin Duffy can't show you how to make 100 grand. Diarmuid Gavin can't show you how to make 100 grand. But Keith Barry will show you how to make 100 grand disappear. Right? And they laughed at that again. And I said, now, if I can help all of your team, it's not going to cost you 50 grand, so you can relax at that. But if I can help your team to make 100 grand in the first month alone, what do you think it would be fair to pay me? And what do you think they said?
10 grand.
20.
10 grand.
Okay. So do you think I had to do, where do you see the difference in negotiating properly there?
Yeah.
When you negotiate like that, when you know your value proposition, you know what you give to people, it's a whole different ball game.
So
Does that make sense? Sorry?
So what did you do in the end?
I did it for 10 grand.
Good on you.
Now I had to give 3 to the camera crew. Do you remember the photographs I showed you with the camera crew, right?
Yeah.
But still, it wasn't a bad 25 minutes, was it?
Yeah,
I'm sure.
Look, there's loads of prep. It's 30 years it's taken me to get to be able to do that, right?
But even for that one day, yeah.
But even for that one day, okay? But imagine if I had been scurrying around trying to do it for less than the 2.5 grand, right? That's where knowing how to negotiate properly, but would the negotiation have happened if we hadn't known how to communicate, how to attract, how to build the value, how to create the imagination? Do you see the way it follows steps? Yeah?
Yeah.
How many of you have seen advertised out there, oh, you don't need to learn how to sell, we'll teach you how to negotiate? How many of you have seen negotiation technique courses?
Yeah.
Right, I saw one advertised recently, 2 days, 2 full days, 2 8-hour days, 16 hours to teach you how to negotiate. What the fuck were they going to talk about? There certainly wasn't any of the prep in it. And this is the problem with the VFFAs. They want to do the bare minimum. They won't do the 8 steps before the negotiation. Just teach me how to negotiate, I'll be fine. It's nonsense. Because negotiation starts in the first 4 seconds that somebody sees you. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, right. So that's what you need to do in your pitch before you can get to negotiate. Once you get that done, what do we have next on the thing?
Be able to close.
Be able to close. Who'd like to be able to close in one sentence without giving any discount?
That'd be nice.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
How long does it normally take us to close? Takes forever, doesn't it? Huh? This is why when you put all the steps in place along the way first, it becomes much easier. This is why when you get into the imagination, it becomes much easier. You know when you buy shoes and you go in and you take the one off the rack and you sit down and you put it on, right? What happens? They come up and they say, would you like the second one? You go, no, it's okay, I'm just looking. But they sneak the shoe in, don't they? They sneak it into your peripheral vision, go, there you go, right? And they put it on. And you put it on, you walk up and down, and they ask you one question only, how did they feel? And you go, oh, they feel really comfortable. And they ask one more question. It's the most amazing question you'll ever hear. Will I put the old ones in the bag? And what do you say?
I do.
Go
I'll
on.
get them.
Yeah, right? Imagine if you could take the principle of that. If I could show you how to put the principle of that into closing what you do. What difference would that make to your discount, to your security, to your happiness, to your cash flow, to your money? Do you think it'd change it? Do you think it'd get you nearer to it? Yeah.
Totally.
Okay, so they don't even need to fill out the page on closing. What were we left with?
Yep. I'm wrong.
What were we left with on the
Knowledge,
list?
skills, and attitude.
The knowledge, skills, and attitude, which is all in there. I can show you how to do all that.
Over-deliver.
Over-deliver. Now, here's the thing. At what point do you over-deliver? Let's go back to the list. That's the end point, wasn't it, to over-deliver?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah? So would everybody here agree that the point where we over-deliver is the end point?
Yeah.
Yes.
What if I said you're wrong?
Right. Every step you have to
over-deliver from the start.
You have to over-deliver from letting them know you exist. You have to over-deliver from the attraction. You have to over-deliver with the brochure. You have to over-deliver with the communication. You have to over-deliver with the pitch. You have to over-deliver with the close. And then you over-deliver with the product.
Yeah.
If you can do that, I guarantee you 100% that you will get 100% of what's on that sheet. It's the people who skip that don't get it. Does that make sense? Yeah? And now I'm going to show you how you spot the sharks, right? And how, remember I said one of the things was show you clearly how it's laid out and show you the recipe. Yeah. And then I said the other thing you need to do is write this down. No rock star, no sports star, and no successful company owner ever made it on their own. And that was one of the reasons I showed you the clip from the Grand Tour earlier. It was a real highlight of that when the two lads joined him, right? He knew who he wanted with him, right? So to give you an idea of that, I'm going to, where's my screen? Which one do I want? It's this one. Yeah. Now, I'm going to show you a couple of interesting things I saw from people who are in my industry. Okay? They've put this stuff out there, so to hell with them. Now, this is somebody in the UK. See what they call themselves? A sales management consultant, a sales trainer, sales growth specialist, and whatever else has disappeared there. Read that out. Somebody read that out. Rob, read that out.
I can't really see it there.
Oh, can you not?
No.
Can you guys not see it?
Yeah, busy day tomorrow.
I can see it.
Oh, that's a bit better.
Busy day tomorrow. Prospect meeting with a potential new client first thing. Sales workshop to deliver straight afterwards for a motor industry customer. A client visit to help in a sales recruitment interview early afternoon. Mystery shopping call for an estate agent who wants me to evaluate their customer experience at 4. BBC Radio 5 live interview just after 5. And then I go home and be a dad. The best bit, sales coach, sales growth, performance improvement.
Who's he talking about? In all of that?
Me.
Himself.
Like, see you later.
Me. Is that person going to be able to help you to achieve what you want?
No.
It's all about themselves.
Over deliver, deliver, or under deliver?
Under deliver.
Under deliver. Do you want somebody like that telling you how to find success?
Absolutely not.
Okay. So, but yes, what are they peddling themselves as?
An expert.
An expert, right? Here's another one I found today, right? Let me make sure we have sound here. We got this to, their computer sound, right? Now, hope you can hear.
Today's tip in the A to Z of presentation skills tips is X for extra. Yes, I'm cheating a little bit with this one. When you are delivering your speech, your presentation, try to give a little bit extra so that the audience come away feeling that they have got even more than they had expected from what it was that you had to say.
I don't even need to hear any more of that.
I'm bored.
See what it says, unlock speaking confidence. Do they look confident?
No.
Presentation skills, are they presenting well?
No.
Presentations training and executive presence, is any of it there?
None.
None.
No. I really
over deliver?
People, Peter.
No.
Under deliver?
Under deliver.
Okay. Right. Now, again, I'm not picking on people. They put this stuff out there, right? This appeared on my feed, right? You've seen this one before.
Yeah. Teaching how to think can only get better. Can only get, take it all from me, you know. I know that things can only get better. Sometimes lose myself in me. I lose track of time. And I can't see the woods for the trees. You set them alive. Burn the bridges as you go. I'm doing too far, yeah. I got the best know how to do. Then you say, walk my path with my shoes. Talk like that, I'll be everything to everything. Can only get better. Can only get better. Now I found you.
Now, deliver, under deliver, over deliver.
Over deliver.
Right? Not saying that to blow smoke up my you-know-what. I
said
don't
everything.
need to do that, right? I know I say that all the time, but it's true.
I'm ready for
The
the
thing
smoke.
is, which one of those three do you think is more likely to get you what you want on that list?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you got people involved. You got people in there. They're all about themselves and you aren't.
But it's not just that. There's a level of quality there.
Yeah.
right? If I actually turned around to you and said, "Do you know what? I will show you how to make 100 grand next year that you didn't have this year." Which one of the three of those makes it look like it would happen?
Third one.
Yours.
Okay, now think about this. In all walks, when you want to get something done, are you now not better off to keep that in mind? If it's a plumber you want, if it's a tiler, if it's getting a kitchen made, if it's buying a car, whatever it happens to be, what do you think you're going to get as a result if you go for the cheap option? Whether it's a photographer, whether it's whatever. Does that make sense, guys?
Yeah.
Right? Okay. And it's about, nobody gets everything they want without putting time, effort, and investment into it. Okay. And if you're going to invest in what?
The best.
The best, right? Now, there's a reason I'm saying that. I need more shirts. No, I don't. The point I want to make with it is, when we go out and about and we look for a new customer, or we look for our existing customers to stay with us, what are we asking them to do?
Invest in us.
Invest in you.
We're asking them to invest in us. Have we got the right to ask people to invest in us if we haven't invested in ourselves?
No.
We don't.
No.
Right? So invest, but invest wisely. That makes sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Peter,
Because
I sense you're coming to an end, so don't end without sharing your screen with me because I want to finish up.
oh, okay.
So
Well, I
you can
was
share your
going.
presentation.
I was going to just finish off with, I think at this point, I deserve, after all the stuff we've given. Do you know, guys, that today marks 7 months of Pitch Perfect?
I know, it's
7
unbelievable.
months, every Friday, without fail, right? And I think, and I've never asked you for anything, have I? Apart from to enjoy yourselves, right? So just to finish that bit off, just to show you the bits of that list that I can do. The communication and the ideal client, etc., are in, what did I call it? Level up.
Level up.
Okay. The next stage, the negotiation steps and how to do the actual pitch, and the steps that I guarantee you, if you get to number 10, you are called Step It Up. And then the advanced driving test version, which is on top of that for you guys, is called
Live It Up.
Live It Up. And I will be running those after Christmas. And I would love to see some of you guys start with me with Level Up after Christmas. All right? Why do I want you to do that?
Be successful.
So that you can have what was on that list. That's the only reason. Now, I normally finish off with a little phrase, don't I? But Joanne has asked for me not to do that just for a second. So multiple participants can share. You can now share, Joanne.
Okay. So I have a little video to share. Can everybody see my screen?
Oh, good Lord.
And I do hope that the audio comes through. So just let me know if you can hear it.
No, there's no audio there yet.
View options.
No.
View options and then share computer sound.
With chips is in it. I love that.
Yeah, I like that too.
Yeah.
Where are the view options? Where is that?
Okay, so what you do
on
is...
on the top of the screen.
Oh, it doesn't give... Oh, hold on. Let me see. View.
To the right.
In the middle?
Share computer sound. Got it.
There you go.
Okay, there we go.
Oh,
Hear
yeah.
Perfect.
Oh Christ, where did you get the photo on the left? None of this should be happening if I hadn't dragged this idea up. Me, look, me. See that? Me.
There'll be one more, and every gambler knows.
I was once introduced going on stage as a man let loose in his own head. Fine. I don't fucking need that in a coach.
It's perfect for love stories begin. Huh?
There you go. Hi, ladies. My name's Peter. I've got a 7-inch tongue and I can breathe through my ears. When's the last time I heard a salesman be that honest?
Winter.
You still managed to take it to a whole new level.
New level.
You go.
It's been here before. It says that doesn't add up to 100. Don't care. It's there for emphasis. Okay.
What would it mean to you if I could show you how to do that? Are you starting to understand that sitting and waiting for it to happen never gets you where you want to be? Hello? Anyone there? Here's the thing. Start to think about who you are an expert to, because then you can start to come across with clarity and with strength. If you don't believe it, you'll never see it. Do you think your dreams are unachievable? Or do you think they could be achieved with a bit of work, with a bit of direction, with a bit of going in the right way?
Totally.
Yeah.
Yep. Big time.
Every one of you has it within you, but you have to make the conscious decision. And you have to make that you are going to over-deliver every single day of your life from here on in.
Every falling rain on the shore.
Don't let the bastards grind you down.
It's staggering what you can do if you change your focus. What we're going to do is, we are going to build the Trivial Pursuit for you guys over the next few weeks.
A voice like a goose farting in the fog.
Look across here. There's Louise pretending she's nice. Look at her with her halo.
I am
If you go your way, and I go, are we so? Who's nobody's praying?
Walk my path. You can wear my shoes. Let the target me. Be an angel too. But maybe you ain't never gonna feel this way. You ain't never gonna know me. But I know you. Singing in our things can only get better. Can only get better. If we see it through, that means me and I mean you too. So teach me not to think. Here is the rainbow I've been praying for. It's gonna be bright. Sunshiny day, bright, sunshiny day.
That's great.
Oh, guys, thank you very much for that.
You have taught us so much over the 7 months. Not only
thanks, Peter.
Thank you, Peter, for everything.
Thank you, Peter.
Valuable.
Well, you're all very welcome. But as I said, what was it for?
For us.
So you guys could be
the best.
The best.
So you could be the best. So guys, for me, for the last time, will you join me and Tina and get on your feet
It'd be rude not to.
for the last time?
Hey, have a good Christmas, everyone.
Yeah.
And by the way,
Merry Christmas.
and by the way, we see you on Thursday.
At the Christmas party.
The Christmas party.
Thanks, Peter.
Oh, Noreen, I love it.
Give me everything I need. Give me a lifetime of promises and a world of dreams. Speak the language of love like you know what it means.
Come on, ladies. Put your ass, Sophie. Come on, get up, ladies.
You're simply the best. Better than all the rest. Better than anyone. Anyone ever met. I'm stuck on your heart. I hang on every word you say. Tears apart. In your heart, see the start of every night and every day. In your eyes, I get lost, I get washed away. Just as long as I'm here in your arms, I could be in no better place. You're simply the best. Better than all the rest. Better than anyone. Anyone I ever met. Ooh, I'm stuck on your heart. I hang on every word you say. Oh, tears apart now. Baby, I'm each time you leave me, you start losing control. Walking away with my heart and soul. I can feel you alone. Oh, baby, now I'm
Well done, Peter. Thank you. Thanks for the champagne.
Oh, nice, Noreen.
Oh, thank you so much, Peter.
Thanks.
Thanks, Peter.
Thank you, Peter.
Thank you very
Thanks,
much.
everyone.
Thanks
You
so
are
much.
all so welcome.
Thank
Merry
you so
Christmas.
much.
A blast.
Thank you.
And we'll see you hopefully Thursday, 7
Sorry.
o'clock, isn't it?
Sorry, can't
Yeah.
make that. Apologies, I'm going to have to miss
Oh, well,
it. Really sorry.
Go.
we have a little
Thank you,
surprise for you. And we've got some prizes and all that kind of stuff. And I'm the MC for the party on
Oh,
I'm not
Thursday
coming
evening.
then.
So,
How dare you?
so it's
Thank
going to
you,
be a
Peter.
little bit of madness. And at that point, we can all join Noreen in the champagne.
Yeah.
So you're all welcome, you know.
Guys, have a great
We'd love to meet
weekend.
everyone in person one day.
Super.
See you guys.
Well done, Peter.
Bye.
Thank you, Peter.
Bye.
Well done.